When was the moment you realized you didn't really fit in with your friend group anymore? When I quit drugs. My problem was not starting drugs. Or at least, not the right ones. No. Chuck. Meth and crushed oxys are not in the same league as weed. Not even remotely. Spent all day trying to get any of them to go see a movie with me that evening. Called people. Texted people. No one was available. I decided screw it. I'll go alone and went early to get a ticket and caught a good number of the people I invited coming out of the movie together. They dodged me. I sat in my car and wept until the movie started, then wept the whole way home. When they tend to leave you out when they are going out or talking and chatting. I was the only girl in a big guy group for ages in high school. One time we'd all organized to go to the movies and were to meet at the train station. I got there a couple minutes early. I waited for 20 minutes. Sent a message to my friends. After no reply and waiting for an hour, I finally got a hold of one who said they'd cancelled late last night but forgot I was going, so they hadn't told me. We'd made the plans a week in advance and I had to call my dad in tears to explain and get him to come pick me up after he dropped me off. Big wake up call. It was time to move on. Over the summer I realized I didn't have any contact information for a single one of them. And they didn't have mine. Then when school started again they would talk about hanging out outside of school all the time, and I realized I was just a school friend and they didn't really care to hang out with me. Yeah, that happened to me my junior year of high school, and that's when I realized I only had 3 real friends there and 2 of them were my siblings. The inside jokes that I don't get, lol. As someone who struggles with my self-esteem and fitting in and seeming cool, this one hits close to home. My friends will have one inside joke I don't get, and for the rest of the day I think they all hate me and don't want to be my friend. When I was drunk at a party, and 911 needed to be called for a former friend that I frankly hated. Everyone disappeared when the ambulance and police were heading over. I was stuck drunkenly telling her mom over the phone that her daughter had a severe panic attack and possible alcohol poisoning. And that I was sitting with her while waiting for emergency responders. Her mom kept saying I must be her one genuine friend. And I hated that girl for being a petty backstabber. Even if I hate someone, I wouldn't leave them drunk and alone in the middle of a panic attack. I cut those friends off after that. It had been a long time coming. The rest of my time at college was very lonely. Literally all they did for fun anymore was get trashed and party. That was not a life I wanted. My friends dumped me when I got sick, CFS. Once I couldn't go out with them anymore. They couldn't even bother to pick up the phone. When they started getting married one by one and having kids. After that, everything they did revolved around couples activities or kids activities. Those of us left and the group who are single were sort of shut out. For me it was the opposite. I was the only one married with a kid. They couldn't understand why I couldn't go out with them on zero notice. Also I had to drive 40 minutes downtown while 7 months pregnant to a bar for my friend's birthday. I really tried, but it sucked having to cancel on them all the time. The second they began demanding nice little extra things I'd do for the friendship. The second it became expected rather than appreciated was when I was done with it. When I quit putting in the effort to make the plans, I realized I was a third wheel in the group that wasn't invited unless I did the actual work. I was basically ghosted. That's the worst. It's the realization that if you got hit by a car today and ended up in the hospital and needing help, they wouldn't be there. That if something happened and you needed to take care of yourself, they won't be there. I found myself homeless and they all disappeared. Came back around again when I got an apartment, but I just didn't want to rekindle the friendships. Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry. But good for you for recognizing that they weren't worth your time. Real friends stick with you through everything. Especially the bad stuff. So if they abandon you when you're struggling the most, not only are they shitty people who lack compassion, but they are not your friends. You deserve so much better. And I really hope things are going better for you now. When it went from smoking a little weed, drinking a few beers, and taking the occasional dose, to opiate abuse and full-blown alcoholism. In other words, when it went from just having some fun to serious addictions. It was time to go. For the record, most of them are dead now. Despite my username, I'd prefer they still be alive. I've honestly never felt like I fit into a friend group ever. I have friends who I love one-on-one, but find that when a core group of 5+ starts, there's always drama or weird expectations. With my high school friend group, it was the first year we started college. They all went to the same one and I didn't. I made new friends and my high school friends were annoyed that I didn't hang out with them all weekend. Every weekend. Then with my college friends, we just drifted apart after we graduated. Which is fairly normal. Everyone I worked in retail with grew really close. Until everyone paired up except for me. Suddenly I was hanging out with 6 couples instead of 12 people. Plus I quit. I usually still chat with the person I was closest to in the group, but don't really keep in touch with the group as a whole. When I realized they always talked very poorly about a girl who was in the same class as us in junior year. The girl came from a middle-rich family, so she had some manners we didn't. We were from the hoods, so they were always talking dirty about her and criticizing her. That girl was never mean to any of us and was the kindest person I have met until then. I never said offended her when my friends talked, but it was seriously growing on me and I just left that group. I slowly stopped talking to them. And I became real good friends with her, and she is today one of the person I trust a lot. When I spent a semester in and out of a hospital for surgeries and stuck back at home, and exactly one person contacted to ask if I was okay. Twice. In 6 months. They sent flowers and called every day to another girl who had a head cold for a week. They take more than they ever gave back. I get that. Especially when you support them through bad days and all of a sudden you're alone on your bad days. I hate when I send a message and no acknowledgement whatsoever. I don't try anymore. Weird. But whenever my friends get married and I am part of the wedding, I never hear from them after that. This has literally happened to 3 of my, what I thought were, closest friends. When they started making plans without me, hanging out with other friends, it seems as if they climbed the social ladder and I fell down it. Those aren't friends, mate. Friends take you with them up the social ladder. Assholes trade their company for company that will benefit them more. When they started being extremely racist out of the blue. Edit. Just wanted to clarify that I always talked about how messed up racism is when the topic would come up. So they knew full well that I was anti-racism. That happened to me once. I was having a full-blown panic attack in the middle of a Discord call. It was completely out of nowhere and not for any reason in particular. My mind just decided to go completely apeshit. She was talking to me the next day after I calmed down. And she assured me that, even though my anxiety was getting increasingly worse, I at least had it better than most people because I'm white. I immediately cut her out of my life for that one. When I realized that most of what they considered funny were jokes at my expense or things that embarrassed or humiliated me in some way, it took me far too long to make the decision to stop seeing them. As I don't find it easy to make friends and these guys had been with me since primary school. But it was the right decision. I have better friends now. When they all started hanging out without me, same but with Discord calls. They would bring up an inside joke they have and I would obviously be confused. They would straight up tell me it's cause I'm not in the Discord group but then never add me. I only got Discord so I could join call with them when they play games and I could do whatever want but still be there. We all took different career paths. I still wanted to hang out. But there was a vibe that I couldn't shake that they didn't want to hang with me anymore. So the one a month things became once every few months. And now down to texting on birthdays. That sort of thing. Miss you guys still. When toxicity is too strong. When you feel alone despite being with them. When you feel that they don't listen and you won't like to listen to them. Or when you start having thoughts about you not caring about them anymore. I ended a long relationship with a very toxic group that I got for plenty of years. And now I'm in a new group and finally feel happy again. We kept inviting everyone over for a fun evening and everybody just sat there after dinner was done like, well, entertain us. One day my spirit went dry and we just watched Slav memes and everyone left quite quick. They never invited me and my girl over, so we laid low and waited for them to make a move. Been 3 years now. Was at a movie with them, The Jackal or something like that, starring Bruce Willis. At one point a gay character gets shot and they cheered. They went on and on about it the rest of the night. I am a white, hetero, Christian male with a right-leaning political view. But I couldn't take it. I let them know how ugly all the hate was and I never hung with that group again. Took me a while to get a new central group of friends together. But 20+ years later we still get together regularly. About halfway through high school, we all had dreams of getting out of the ghetto and becoming something. But around that time they started f***ing up. Having kids. Dropping out. Doing drugs. Out of a friend group of 6. I'm the only one that actually got out of the ghetto and became something. Haven't really bothered to make friends since then. TBH. Not so much a friend group but a specific friend. When I told her I was pregnant, she said that this was her worst nightmare because now she could never catch up with me in life milestones. No need to stay being friends with competitive people who see good things happening to you as threats to their own happiness. 2nd grade. My friends. They were racist. Found out when my friend told the boy next to her that she doesn't want to be friends with me because I'm black. The boy told the teacher. She was sent to the office. Her other friend didn't talk to me the whole day. The next day, I told them I didn't want to be friends with people who don't even like me. They were pretty mad. On that day, the teacher also decided to teach us racism. Good. Teach those brats. Spending time with them became exhausting. People are supposed to change and evolve, and after being friends with people who don't do that, you realize they feed into each other's lack of change and outgrow them. It doesn't mean they're bad people. But it's important to spend your time wisely and not to waste it with people you aren't happy around. When I started to have thoughts like, I can't say that. It's too weird. They don't get it or won't understand. Am I always this weird? Double quote. To be honest, I only have like 3 friends. 2 of 16 years. 1 of 20. They're the only people I feel like I be the realest me and don't worry about being judged. When I grew aware that they left me out of their conversations, their interests and their future plans, that the only reason I was around was because I had money from being the only one working, that my dreams and aspirations were shut down by them instead of supported. I miss the gaming nights we had, but I don't miss being taken advantage of. 6 months after graduating high school, not a single one believed me when I said I'd been with a girl in college for a couple months when we had a little reunion of sorts. I guess I had tried to ignore the negativity when I was around them almost every day. But it became pretty obvious 6 months later that, out of the ones that showed anyways, they all thought I was a loser. My whole high school and college careers, I'd been a strong Christian. Went to the youth groups, retreats, the whole 9 yards. That's where I'd met most of my friends. And we stayed close. My junior and senior year of college, I got burnt out on Jesus and decided to stop going to church 3 times a week. Deciding instead to stay home usually. The summer after senior year of college, my best friend married a girl we'd met together back in high school. And I wasn't invited to the wedding. All the other Christian homies were there. But not even a save the date for me. Was pretty clear that they were done with me. And I needed to be done with them. When they started ghosting me and f***ing my sister after our friend took his life. Really dark period for me. But I went on to find much better friends. And have since gone no contact with my sister, for a variety of reasons. When I was a kid I hung with a group of 3 dudes throughout junior high and high school. After high school, I went into the Air Force. I came back on leave after about a year and they were into meth, weed, speed. You name it. I knew they were into weed before I left. One of the reasons I did go into the Air Force They were gone and that was sad. I never went back after that. When I realized that the laid-back, liberal, post-hippie, mildly anti-authoritarian biker subculture of the 70s and 80s, populated by people who enjoyed a drink and a festival and good music and the odd illegal substance for personal use, and who despised skinhead Nisa culture and the racism that went with it, had somehow withered away while many of us were raising our kids and building a life. What was left was a bunch of 50-something wannabe army veterans in camo trousers and wraparound shades who thought the immigrants were responsible for the ills of the country and right-wing nationalism was a good look. Yeah. No. We don't go back there anymore. I transferred to a new college where I only knew one person. He quickly introduced me to his friend group. So they became my instant friends. Like instant rice or oatmeal. Not great as the real thing, but better than nothing. I distinctly remember being at one of his parties. 2 girls of the group started drunkenly making out on the floor. And a whole circle of people, mostly guys, formed around them. Just like staring down at them. I remember thinking I do not belong with these people. They were on such an infantile level compared to me. I wish I had known that then. When I realized that I didn't really fit it with them anymore. Like apart from few words here and there I used to just be quiet and listen. In a group of new people it's normal for me to be quiet, but in a group of friends whom I've known for more than 2 years it was not me. I'm a talkative person and hence realized it's better to have 1-2 close friends rather than a big group with whom I don't really feel confident in. It was also because I had continued the professional degree course and I had changed streams midway, so spent lesser time with them than usual. I can't quite pinpoint it. I just often got ignored, forgotten, talked over and the like. I don't quite have the same sense of humor as them. I don't have any shared interests. I just felt like a total outsider to the group. Hell, any group, for that matter. I'm sick of living on the periphery, feeling like the odd piece of the puzzle. Everyone saying when I stopped drugs and stuff, but honestly mine was when they all started settling down with partners, getting engaged and expecting babies. I believe I'm the only one now from my friend group that is single, lives alone, and no kids. Makes gatherings and meetups just different, I guess. We were part of a group of younger married couples, mid-20s to 30s. When we found out a few had started banging one another and others and then the divorces started, we got out. One of the guys who is still married to the best of my knowledge still doesn't know his wife cheated on him multiple times with multiple guys. Sorry Eric. When I left for grad school, stopped wanting to talk about or discuss video games, and finally admitted I hated the shitty indie bands I would have to listen to all the time around them. Then I realized I'd get no response when I'd try to talk about my favorite bands, and get completely shut down when talking about movies I liked or wanted to see. Went from ignoring me to telling me I had shitty taste in everything. Pretty sure I was becoming a normie in their eyes. I have a strong group of friends now that checks in with me, with different professions and interests. And I feel like I'm not judged for disliking what they like, or liking what I like. I decided to visit someone I'd met online. I really liked this person and we were hoping to kick off a relationship. My friend insisted that they go along with me. The entire time my friend did nothing but flirt with them. It was extremely uncomfortable, not to mention incredibly rude. I ended up leaving early and taking them with me because I was so embarrassed. I ended up getting into a major fight with the friend about how they couldn't respect my boundaries and feelings. We didn't stay friends much longer. The person I visited ghosted at me for a month before they finally started talking with me again. I ended up dating them for a while but it didn't work out. Was in a sorority for all the wrong reasons. I realized I didn't fit in when everyone only cared about the next party or who's dating who. Like who gives a FCK. College is supposed to be about getting a good education, which I was severely slacking at BC of all my partying and drinking and sorority stuff. I quit and raised my GPA from 3.0 to 3.75. Best decision ever. When I had my daughter. It's sad how everyone talks about OMG I can't wait to be in your wedding or I can't wait until we start having kids and I'll throw you a baby shower, but by the time those events come, most of those friends are gone. A girl I considered one of my best friends since 12 years old, I'm 29 now, hasn't even met my daughter. She came to my baby shower but I haven't seen her since. My daughter will be 2 in January. Oh well.